Hello, hello, hello. We are back. It's Doc Sports, Doc's Daily Show. Craig Trapp here with you, and we've got a locked and loaded show. Hey, this is the first time. Welcome, Robert, to March Madness officially. Last week, of course, we were just short of March Madness, but exciting time of year, and we've got, Missouri Valley, I think, kicking off today. So,
right now.
And the MAC, right? I think the MAC's kicking off today too as well. So some important games. Some of these games we'll talk about them when we get to college basketball. We'll do the NBA first, then finish the NHL. But some of these games start early today. So, hey, why don't we do this today? Today we'll do college basketball first, just in case anybody has opinions on these early games. People have as much time as possible. But let's take care of housekeeping. Make sure you get in. Free $60 account, new customers. I know, he should be like have some kind of celebration on his screen here because eight unit winner with Griffin Murphy yesterday in the NBA. Robert Ferringo hit BYU on Saturday, right? Saturday was the game of the year. So game of the years, 2-0 year.
Boys are rolling.
Yeah. So it's a good time of year to hit the best bets, of course. But you can get all those places, $30 per sport per day or $99 per week per sport, and you can use this free $60 towards that. Of course, if you're an existing user, go to the grid, and we got tons of big plays today. It will tell you who's right above the grid, who's kind of got what today, so you know who to get in on. So make sure you do so. All right. Also, don't forget about the Premium and Premium Plus. You can get in on that. Click the link in the description. $19.99 gets you Indian Cowboy. He gives you a couple leans every day. These aren't his expert plays, but just underneath of those. And then an extra $30, you'll get the Indian Cowboys plays plus 3 different experts plays every day. So that value that there is basically $90 a day. So make sure you check it out. We went 3-0 on Monday, 1-2 on Tuesday, 2-1 yesterday. So a nice run so far. We look to keep it going today. There's a nice Missouri Valley play. Speaking of Missouri Valley play in the Premium Plus, so make sure you click in on it and get in on it. I think it's the second game. So it's like about 3:30-ish, maybe, Robert, like Eastern time.
No, Verdon Croy has a 7-unit play on the Indiana State Southern Illinois game that just tipped off.
Okay, so make sure you check that out. Get in on it. All right, let's talk college hoops, and let's kick it off with Robert Ferringo, since we do call him the king of college hoops for a reason. And nice win with BYU. I mean, it was never close. West Virginia didn't get off the bus in the second half there. So a nice win. What do you have for a free play for us today?
Well, if I am the king of anything, like can my daughter put her laundry away? Like if I'm the king, I need more power in my castle
on an everyday basis.
Right. This was the last play that I pulled off of my card. Just at the 11th hour, I pulled this one. I still like the play, but it's not a rated play. But I like UC Riverside tonight against Cal Northridge, small home underdog here for Riverside. They were in this exact same situation when they beat UC San Diego. Really good UC San Diego team, by the way. They beat Irvine at home. They had some good non-conference wins at home to St. Thomas. This team also went on the road, I think, and beat Colorado State earlier in the year. UC Riverside is a really, really good team, kind of lurking in the middle of the standings, that I think is capable of winning that conference tournament. I like them here as a home dog. They already beat Northridge on the road. I just think the wrong team is favored. Not a ton of value. I would have liked like 3.5 points, but I knew I was never going to get that number. But I like Riverside. I think they're gonna win this game.
All right, there you go. Not the biggest card today, so stay tuned. Robert will be with us again tomorrow, so we'll talk even more college hoops, and we're going to get his opinion on some of it. We'll start looking ahead to the conference tournaments because, of course, since he comes in on Thursday, Friday show, we might miss some of the middle of the run or even the bottom side of some of these conferences. So we'll maybe talk about some teams that he thinks could maybe make a run and do some upsetting in the conference tournaments. But Griffin, why don't, since you're the other game of the year winner here recently, why don't you go with the free play here?
Yeah, absolutely, Craig. And we're looking at Charlotte at North Texas. North Texas is laying 14.5 points. We have a total sitting at 125.5. And I've got to say, this North Texas team, they've been a covering machine all season long, and they're also a beast. They're 22-6 on the year, and they're also on a 6-game winning streak. On the other hand, Charlotte, they're just 3-7 in their last 10 games. But this Charlotte team they typically don't get blown out by double digits. They always seem to be pesky, and they always seem to cover the spread. And in this matchup, North Texas, they're really not going out here to blow this team out. They've done everything they needed to do this season. All they're looking for tonight is to put one in the win column. So when I look at this game, towards the second half of this matchup, I really think North Texas is going to take their foot off the gas in this game. And this is a current 14.5 point spread differential. I got Charlotte here. Give me the 14.5 points in a meaningless game for North Texas. All they need to do is win. And Charlotte's playing for pure pride in this one, Craig. So give me the points with Charlotte here.
Robert, isn't North Texas, they can't win American, right? Memphis is already secured that.
No, because Memphis has the tiebreaker on them. I mean, if Memphis
would have to lose both, right?
Goes up on themselves, yeah. But no, I'm pretty sure that it's Memphis is to lose. And also earlier you mentioned about the MAC tournament. It's actually the Horizon tournament. The MAC's like illegitimate cousin that they got going on. That's it. The Sun
and they
Belt
play the home games, right? Like as a note for people that don't know,
is also going on right now. They're doing that at a neutral.
Yeah, I kind of like these schools that like play the first couple rounds at the like the higher the team that's the favorite usually because they earned the home queue, and then they go so that way they're not shipping 16 teams to play in the conference tournaments for cost reasons. These smaller tournaments, and I even like these tournaments that play the whole thing like at the winner. We do see it in really small tournaments where if you're the number one seed, you host the whole tournament. Yeah, like I like, hey, you talking about you earn it. Now you at least have a chance because obviously those leagues, you don't win the tournament. You don't they're only taking one seed. It doesn't matter who it is. So at least you get some edge for winning the conference tournament. So, but I do think this North Texas team is one of those teams. Like Robert, don't you think this is if you haven't watched North Texas, watch this game tonight because they are a meat grinder.
They defend for days. Every game with them is a rock fight. I kind of like the play here, Griffin, because like you said, you're paying a little bit of a tax. This number probably should have been closer to 11.5. You're paying a little bit of a tax because North Texas, technically they are still alive. If they win this game and Memphis loses, they'd earn a share, of the conference title. So, you're being taxed for that, but they don't play a lot of high scoring games. They're probably not going to hit 70 in this one. So as long as Charlotte can get 55 points, they should hang around in this one.
And this is, I always call they're a poor man's St. Mary's. They play the same size style where it's like, dude, they're not going to let you get above in the 70s. So can you win? Can you win playing their style? Because they just do not let you speed them up. I think this North Texas team is a sneaky good team come NCAA tournament time. So watch them today. Watch them also in the conference tournament. You can see what we're talking about. Nick, you go a little free play action, then I'll finish this up.
Yeah, before we get into this free play, got a little disclaimer. Like Robert and Griffin hitting their 8 units this weekend, I will have a college basketball 8 units. So looking to continue this streak here on the Docs Daily. I won't let you guys down. But
I need to go last.
Let's go, baby. 3-0.
I want to wait, and I'll do my 8 unit like when we're out in Vegas together.
2 for 2. We're gonna go 3 for 3, and then 4 for 4 with you, Craig. But let's go into this game. We got the Big Ten. We got Michigan State minus 7.5 here against Iowa. The total's sitting at 153.5. Michigan State's been playing great basketball here. They're on a 5-game winning streak. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games here. Iowa. They're a completely different team at home than they are on the road. They're at home today. They're on a 2-game losing streak, though. In their last 10 games, they're 3-7. But this Iowa team at home is 12-5 on the season. They're averaging 82 points per game, and they are 21st in the country in points per game here. On senior night in Iowa, one of the toughest places to play in the Big Ten, I'm taking the Iowa Hawkeyes here with the points over a very good Michigan State team. I believe the public's going to be all over this Michigan State team. I think we get good value here, plus 7.5 at home, senior night, Iowa. Smack them, bang them out, Craig.
Robert,
can I
jump in there? Senior night, right? Senior night. What do you think?
Senior night, it's kind of like homecoming in college football, where it's a little bit of
danger.
It's too much of a distraction, frankly. It's too much of a distraction. You saw it last night with Minnesota a little bit, like Dawson Garcia, super senior. He didn't show up, for the first 30 minutes of that game on his senior night. But I like this play. That was actually going to be my other free play, Nick, is I like a little teaser. Got a little teaser for you, Griffin.
Oh, baby.
Tease me, buddy. Iowa and Western Kentucky. I like teasing Iowa up to 12. Another thing about that play, Nick, is that Michigan State kind of had an emotional bubble burst a little bit. Last night, Michigan lost to Maryland, so that clinched the outright championship for Michigan State. Those two teams are going to play on Sunday. So there was a lot of it. They're already looking ahead to that game, that rivalry game with Michigan on Sunday. So they're probably looking past Iowa here, but they also won the championship last night. So yeah, yay us. We just won the outright. We have our rivalry game on Sunday. This game is going to have a little bit of a like, what are we doing here kind of feel for Michigan State. So I agree with you. I just don't think that they're going to be motivated as much for this game. That's why I like teasing it up to 12, because Iowa would basically just have to like not show up and get run out of its own gym. They're talking about Fran McCaffrey. Is he going to lose his job? Like, they have some things to play for. So I will be surprised if this is not a competitive game.
Yeah, the McCaffrey thing is kind of interesting because, his son transfers to Butler. His son that's next is committed to Butler to be a freshman next year. Kind of like he's the first son that didn't play for him. So like was there, and he signed a long time ago. So was there like, rumblings behind the thing that this was going to be his last year potentially. So interesting what happens at Iowa from now to the end of the season. And then of course the news, if he's retained next year. I got a little free play for you. And, this UAB game, it's kind of like one of those, who can get their style? FAU, everybody loved them the last few years. What a run that May made, of course, and now he's shown how good a coach he was at Michigan, doing what he's done there. But I think FAU they're just like, people are still thinking that. I just think UAB is the better team. Didn't this line come up much shorter too, and now it's moved pretty drastically, I believe?
I mean, all I saw was fives, couple 4.5 sneaking around out there. At DK, it was 4.5, but no, it's pretty much a flat 5 is kind of what I saw.
It's almost interesting because like UAB, if they win, and Andy Kennedy, I don't know, like he was at Cincinnati. I knew him personally, great guy. I don't know. Sometimes I think he's got it all figured out, and sometimes I'm like, play some defense. But I do think tonight, they do cover here. I just think FAU's like I think they stay close in a lot of games. They just can't quite, turn that and get it turned over. So I would small lean here. I don't know about what you think, Robert, but this UAB team is pull your hair out sometimes.
It's a rated play. It's a rated play for me. I like UAB as well here. They lost to Memphis this weekend, so you worry a little bit about the letdown, but they played really well in that game. So, and the fact that it was at home, they're at home again. I like them to kind of get past that. And Florida Atlantic has been terrible on the road. They've been terrible on the road, and they've been terrible about the other good or against the other good teams in this conference. They lost by double digits at North Texas, at Tulane, and at Memphis. Those are the other 3 top seeds along with UAB, and they weren't close against any of those teams. They have not been a good road team, and they haven't been good against the top of the conference. And UAB does kind of need this one. They have not locked up the 3rd seed yet in that conference tournament. The teams that finish 2nd and 3rd, they're going to avoid Memphis in the semifinals, wait until they get them in the final. So there is still motivation for UAB to get this game. So I agree with you. UAB, if they win and they're playing well, they're just going to run away with this game. I think they're either going to lose this game or they're going to win by like 11.
Don't you think? I can't wait, because it could be, if they win, North Texas and UAB in the semifinal, and that's like yin and yang. It's like defense and offense. It's going to be – that'll be a great game. And then whoever wins, like you said, will take on Memphis. Memphis is getting in. I think North Texas is probably going to get in. But if it's UAB, they will have a shot to get into the tournament, and they're a team that I guarantee Memphis doesn't want to play, because that's like, if they're on, they can score. Now that Memphis killed them at home, it was close last time at UAB. But and where's I don't know, where's this conference tournament?
I don't recall.
I didn't look where that conference tournament. I don't know if I know Memphis gets to host it basically like every other year, because it's such a great city to host tournaments. But I'm not sure. I hope it's not in Memphis, because then that would make it really interesting.
Some of the conferences do that. Like the team that won the conference the year before hosts it the next year. I don't remember if the American is one of those or if they're just straight neutral site.
Yeah, that'll be interesting where it's at. So we need to look that up. But let's go to the NBA, talk some free picks in the NBA. Some interesting, game of the year, Griffin. That's what we should call him. Had the Cavs had the Heat at the Cavs last night. Heat almost won the game outright. Of course, he fell a little asleep late, so he came up and like, oh my goodness, I'm texting him like, dude, they almost won. He's like, I know I won. I didn't realize it was. I was like, it was never outside of the numbers. So great win. Why don't you kick us off on the NBA? What do you like as a free play here?
Absolutely, Craig. We're rolling in. We've got the New York Knicks rolling into LA to play the Lakers. We have a line sitting at the Lakers are laying 3.5 points, total 230.5. This is the kicker here. The Lakers, they've won 7 games in a row. They just blew out the Pelicans by 20 in their last game. Luka and LeBron are both listed as game time decisions. This line's currently sitting at -3.5. That's a telltale sign in my eyes. That is telling me that either LeBron or Luka or neither of them are going to be playing in tonight's matchup. I couldn't see that being the case. I believe it's going to be one or the other, but I believe this line should be a little bit more shifty. On a 7-game winning streak in New York, just not playing their best basketball whatsoever. I mean, they've been on and off all season. Despite them having 40 wins on the year, they've been really inconsistent. But in this circumstance, I don't believe that the market priced this line properly, and with the case of LeBron and Luka. But New York does play really good basketball on the road with a record of 19-10. I believe this is a public trap play, and I don't think Luka is going to play tonight, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be LeBron on the court tonight, and I'm taking the Knicks here plus 3.5 points because I just believe this is a public baited trap line, and it's going to pull the cord again come 5 o'clock right before tip-off, 6 o'clock before tip-off. One of these two guys is going to be listed as out, and the other guy is going to be playing. And I believe that is why this line is so shaky right now. So give me the Knicks here, Craig, and I'm taking the 3.5 points. And I wouldn't be surprised if they snap that 7-game winning streak and win this game outright.
The NBA has to figure this out. I think it was August. He lost his game of the year the other day, and he was quote off on Twitter, and he's right. Like the NBA, it's like, like we have the NFL, and they have to give it the time. There's a set time where they have to say a guy's in or out on game day. It's like the NBA needs to have that so that, because what happens is, literally they're warming up and this guy's not playing. It's 20 minutes for the game time and you're already locked into your bed.
Mobley was supposed to be out yesterday and Tyler Hero was supposed to start. All of a sudden, Tyler Hero's hurt, or he's sick and Mobley's starting. Yeah. So I'm just, give me a damn break. Anyway, who cares?
And not just from the bettor's perspective, but as someone who has kids and who takes my kids to the NBA game, that's not cheap. It's not cheap to go to an NBA game, especially for good seats. Something like if the Spurs come to town here in Atlanta and I want to take my kid to see Victor Wembanyama,
right,
and we get tickets and then we go and he's not playing, what's going on here? Like that, that's a huge kick in the balls. So I agree with you. I think that it should be noon each day, barring the obvious, like if somebody gets hurt at shoot around. But if somebody abuses those rules, take away draft picks, something like that. But it should be noon every day where you have to declare who's playing and who's not just for bettors, but also for fans.
Well, when you're taking the kind of money that the NBA is from DraftKings, FanDuel, all these sponsors, I mean, it's not a little bit of money now. You go look at I don't think it's came out this year yet, but they'll announce in their earnings who's giving them what. It's going to be the betting companies are going to be the top 2 or 3 who's giving them the most money. I mean, there's probably some cell phone carriers and such alike, but to me, you can't be giving them all this money and then not have any pull back the other way. And it protects the market as well, because now, if Luka calls and tells his buddies, I don't think he would do this, but just say, or says, hey, I'm not playing tonight. And it hasn't, the news hasn't came out. Like, you could bet the other side and get you could basically middle this game.
And all the Ohtani special there. The old
yeah. So like the Pete Rose, hey, I only bet on my team. Yeah, but the days you don't bet, guess what? That means your team's you think they're going to lose. So it's like, you don't need to tell us that you think your team's going to lose. We know you don't bet on them. That's the whole reason why players can't bet on their in sports. But I will say this is a interesting game because the Knicks haven't beat anybody all year. They beat up on the bad teams.
That's the problem.
Like they eventually have to put their effort into these games. Now, Karl-Anthony Towns, I don't know if he's in or out. He's been basically a game time decision and has been out the last few games. Like he kind of needs to start playing on these games because they need to prove it to themselves and kind of the rest of the league that, hey, we're for real. I think they're I don't know, Griffin, you have that number? They're 2-10 or something against the top 4 teams in the 2 conferences.
I don't have it in front of me. I know it's brutal.
It's worse than that. Yeah, it's bad, it's something. Bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad. That's why that was a no play for me. I like Griffin's take on it. I like the read on the number. I like his instincts about whether LeBron and Luka sit out, so you get a little value there. But for me, there's just no way I'm betting on the Knicks against these top teams until I see it. They gotta prove it first.
I will say this: LeBron James has played more games this year than I thought he would play. I think he's starting to be like, hey, there's not that many more times I'm going to be here. Like,
right.
Like 1, 2, maybe 3 more years. And he's like, I got to take advantage of it. These guys are coming. Like you said, Griffin, people are paying to come see you play. There's a reason why they say Steph Curry and Jordan's like, hey, I always want to be out there because, half the people are coming to see them play, especially when you only get to see, like your example, the Spurs come to the Hawks once a year. So it's not like, oh, I'll catch them the next time. The next time is next year.
That's why I actually took my son to see the Lakers the last time that they played here. And that was my reasoning. I was like, if I don't take him to see him, he's never going to get to see LeBron James play. So I'm glad I got to do that.
Yeah. So interesting game, though. That is the TNT game. So hopefully we'll at least get some news a little earlier than some of these, obscure games that aren't on the national television networks that seem to sneak these injuries in. Like, oh, yeah, by the way, Mobley's going to go and Tyler Hero's not. I was like, what? What happened? All right.
Mine starts bouncing 4 points. The hell's going on here?
Yeah. What is going on? All right. Nick, why don't you go NBA here? What do you like?
Yeah, let's look at the Houston Rockets -4.5 against the New Orleans Pelicans here. The total sitting at 230. Both of these teams coming off losses in their last game. This Rockets team enters this one on a 3-game losing streak, but they just had to deal with the Thunder and the Pacers. Those two teams are very fast-paced up and down the court here. The Pelicans, they just lost to the Lakers. The Rockets, they're 3 games above 500 here, though, on the road, while the Pelicans only have 11 wins on the season at home. I like this Rockets team here tonight, and I would lay the points as I do believe they're going to blow out these Pelicans here tonight in New Orleans. So I would go Houston Rockets -4.5 over the New Orleans Pelicans tonight, Craig.
Is Van Fleet still out tonight?
He is.
That's been the real bugaboo for that team. They really miss his leadership. His ability to, like, when things aren't going right, and you have a veteran point guard, is like, we ain't taking no more step back threes with no passes. We're going to get into a good set and get something a little better. And he's got to get healthy. This team, they don't have depth. Like that. That's the thing about the Houston Rockets. They just have no depth. So with them, you know pretty much right away when you watch a Rockets game if they're going to win or lose. It's like you watch the first 5 minutes, you're like, yep, this is what they're going to end, or nope, they have no chance tonight. So you'll know this one pretty close to game time, like what's like halfway through the first quarter. Robert, what do you like as a free play here, NBA?
I'm looking at Golden State, Brooklyn, and I am laying the points here with the Warriors. The Warriors, I mean, they're just right now, they're the president of the not effing around club. Like they are just pounding people. They're 7-1 in their last 8. They've covered the spread in all 7 of those wins. They're 3. The thing that stood out to me about this game, why I really like this game, is they are 3-0 against the spread the last 3 times that they have been favored by double digits. Okay, so when they're facing those big numbers, they are just piss pounding teams. And the Nets, I mean, let's call it what it is. They punched above their weight early in the season. They superseded expectations. Everyone thought that they would probably be the worst team in the NBA this year, and they weren't. Okay, but now they're playing a little catch up, trying to get that tank in there so they can juice their lottery odds here. I mean, they've been getting blown out. They lost by 14, 21, 19, 8, and they lost by 8 to Washington. If you can lose by 8 to Washington, you can lose by 12 to the Warriors with the way that the Warriors are playing right now. So this is just 2 teams going in opposite directions. I'm not going to overthink it. The reason it wasn't a rated play is I am this much worried about the letdown factor from the Warriors playing in MSG. And now will they kind of play down to their competition? But they haven't been playing down to their competition. They've just been pounding people. So I think they're going to wipe out Brooklyn again tonight.
Well, they've only lost 2 games since Butler came over. The one was at Dallas, just kind of a rough, it was like the 3rd game I think he was there. And then they lost when Jimmy Butler was out to the Philadelphia 76ers, but they were going to be playing 3 games in 4 days kind of thing. And I just think they were like, Steve Kerr's the master of trying to manage Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler and Draymond's minutes. And he was like, hey, I can only play Steph Curry so many minutes. And the game kind of got away from him when he was trying to do that. They put him back in trying to make a run. It was just too late in that game. But Jimmy Butler is on the revenge tour. This dude is like, he's one of those, the Kevin Durant, like pettiness guys. He's got every bad quote ever said about, like, probably in his phone. Like, dude, just is motivating the hell out of him when people were like, basically, don't trade for him. He's washed up. And it has worked. It has, we all know Steph Curry's a great teammate, but Draymond Green worried me because those two guys kind of like have that same like mindset where it's kind of like they want to be the alphas. But Draymond Green and him, they switch everything. I mean, there was one play against I forget it was Dallas or I think it might have been Dallas. Jimmy Butler switched on all 5 guys in the play and they got a 24-second violation. I mean, that dude is just great.
Yeah, that's why Draymond loves him. He finally has another guy that will defend with the same urgency and effort level that he does. And, we talked about this in a video a couple of weeks ago about the reason we like handicapping, or at least I like handicapping after the All-Star break, is you don't have to worry about motivation anymore. Yep. Everybody's motivated. Golden State's got to get out of the play-in. They cannot be in the in the play-in tournament, at that back end. Right now they're tied, I think, for 6 or tied for that 7 spot. They got to win games. They want to get an automatic berth into one of those top 6 spots into the playoffs, so they don't have to play, to your point, because they have those veteran guys that they have to rest. So it is going to be, they're going to be very focused over this last month of securing their spot. They might even be able to sneak their way up into like the 4th or 5th seed here.
They actually are the 6th seed. Tied. Statistically tied with the Timberwolves, but Houston's in front of them, only 3 games up, and the Grizzlies to get the 4th seed are only 4 games up, and the Grizzlies aren't playing great right now.
They're taking on water, right?
Yeah,
so if the Warriors can get up to the 4th seed and get a home series in the first round too, because the Warriors are the type of team, they make it out of the first round, all bets are off.
Yeah. I mean, and don't look now. I mean, they're only 6 games back from Denver, and the Lakers are the 2 seed. They're both tied, Denver. So it's like, if one guy, Luka, goes down or Joker misses an extended time, like those teams both don't have a lot of depth. They could fall off. And the Warriors right now, they did have a ton of depth. They needed one more alpha, and they got it. And this team is on a roll. Like you said, the only worry, I was the same. I like the first half in this play, actually, is my free play. I like the first half because I think the Warriors are going to jump on them and be like, hey, let's jump on them, see if we can rest some guys the second half maybe, or play them less minutes, because it's all about keeping these guys healthy. If they're healthy, we see what they are. It's just, can we keep these veteran guys healthy? I like the Warriors in the first half here. I think it's a good play for the game, but I think it's much stronger play for the first half. I think they're going to be up double digits the first half, no problem. Steph Curry, I know he's not going to get the MVP this year, but what he is doing at his age is just so special. Shaq said it. Dude, you got to start talking about him as the best ever, because he's changed the game. Jordan changed the game like no other before him, but he kind of was an extension of Dr. J a little bit, just a better jumper, more obviously a better defender. Guess what? Steph Curry, no one shot threes like this before Steph Curry. Now everybody does it. Every high school you go to, grade school, everybody plays like Steph Curry, or wants to at least.
Sure. Yeah, I like that.
You can't say if there's LeBron didn't change the game. He was just a bigger, stronger Michael Jordan.
Maybe not the best ever for Curry, but maybe the most influential.
Oh, yeah.
Player, just in terms of the game, not, culturally like the icon that Jordan was.
But some might say it bad because of the 3-point. People are complaining about too many 3-point shots, so people might say, hey, he changed it for the worse.
Well, kind of the same way that Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time, but Peyton Manning might be more influential because the stuff that he started doing, getting up to the line, diagnosing the defense, checking out of plays.
Now everybody does.
Now everybody does that. Yeah. Well, Peyton Manning was really the first guy to do that. So.
Yeah, I think I've always been a big Steph Curry fan. Shooting in college was my thing, so it was like, but heck, the rule was you didn't take a dribble and shoot a 3-pointer in the 90s. That's just you just didn't do it unless the shot clock was running out. So for guys to do it on 5 seconds into the shot clock, they take a step back 3, pump off a pump fake. It's just crazy that people do, and consider that not a terrible shot anymore. All right, let's just go quickly. Nick, NHL tonight. Anything you like here as a free play, real quick?
Yeah, let's look. I got a dog here. We got the Utah Hockey Club minus 130 against Detroit. Detroit is coming in this game on a 3-game losing streak here, while Utah also lost their last game to the New Jersey Devils 3-1. But this Utah Hockey Club does play better on the road. It's just this Detroit Tigers.
Detroit Red baseball season, guy.
Detroit Lenny.
He's got Detroit
Lenny. I'm locked in with Detroit. Shout out Detroit Lenny and the Tigers. But this Detroit Red Wings team, they're on a 3-game losing streak. I think they get out of it. They're 16 wins on the season at home. I like this dog price with the Red Wings here over the Utah Hockey Club for the free play in the NHL, Craig.
I was like, why are they underdog? It's the backup goalie tonight, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
so
in
that because that was like, like those stand off. I'm looking at the odds. I always pick what I think it's going to be. And I was like, oh, I can't play this game because there's something I obviously don't know. I don't follow that goaltender stuff as much, I know, as you do. Real quick, Griffin, you have anything in the free play in the NHL?
Yeah, Craig, I've got a totals play. We've got the Sabres rolling into Tampa to play the Lightning. Total sitting at 6.5. This Lightning team, they're absolutely steamrolling right now. 9-1 in their last 10 games. They just pounded Columbus. They put up 6 goals in that game in a 6-2 final. The other hand, Buffalo, they just lost to the Sharks, allowing 6 goals in that matchup in a 6-2 final at home. So the market is begging you. We have a total sitting at 6.5. The market is begging you to take that over in this matchup, considering the fact that both of these teams combined 12 goals in one game. Unacceptable. So in this matchup, this is a huge trap incentive. The Tampa Bay Lightning right now at home, I want to say they're like 23-7, 23-6, and their defense efficiency is 5th in the NHL, which is absolutely stout. Give me the under 6.5 goals in this game. I believe we have another trap in play, 12 goals in just one game if combined. Losing to the Sharks 6-2. I mean, that automatically pulls in there. And why is the market on top of this saying that this total should be sitting at 5.5? Should it not be? Call me crazy. But this is a trap line to me. Makes absolutely no sense. I don't know how the Sabres are going to score goals in tonight's matchup. And the market has put this thing at 6.5. Give me a damn break. I got the under in this one. 6.5 under goals in this matchup here, Craig.
Good. I always say, like, these new totals are all 6.5. So you guys, when you guys were in diapers, and Robert and I have done this 20 years ago, like everything was 5.5. I mean, every goal was 5.5. Every once in a while you see 5.
The juice, yeah.
Like now, of course, with the new rules and the open, play that we see, I mean, they have to be 6.5. But if you look at the numbers on the year, like it's about even. So people just see all the big goals. They don't see the games that are the grinds. And I think that's what you see here. Plus, people bet what they saw last. Almost always, if you bet the opposite of what you saw last, because the public is going to bet what they saw last, usually you're probably kind of good on games.
Hey, can I ask Nick, is there anything that we as bettors should be looking out for the trade deadline? The trade deadline is tomorrow, correct? Yep. Tomorrow at 3:00. Is there anything we should be looking out for? Is there any influence that you think the trade deadline could have on the games tonight at all? Like what are you kind of keeping an eye on over the next 24 hours?
How I like to look at it is definitely the goaltenders. You got the goaltenders are your bread and butters, especially if they're in the top 10 on the defensive side. Look at the goaltenders, but right now we'll see with the All-Star break, but just looking at games is the goaltenders is my number one thing and how I look at these matchups. Blackhawks just got Spencer Knight from the Florida Panthers there. That's a really good pickup. Probably the best thing the Blackhawks did before drafting Connor Bedard there. So goaltenders are your number one thing. You got to watch out for that. So I would just look at that at the trade deadline. But other than that, we'll see how it plays out. It's still too early here, but we'll see what the trade deadline's all about.
I mean, the rumors haven't been quite. It seems like the last few years,
it's kind of.
You haven't heard much. It's been a lot of quiet talk. Now, that doesn't mean there's not a lot going behind that just haven't snuck out yet. But there's always one or two that you're just like scratch your head, like, oh my god. Maybe not like the Luka type trade, but it's like I'm excited because this is the most wide open I've seen the hockey in a long time. Yeah. I think you add a key piece, might not even be on your first line, on second, third line. It could be the difference in winning the playoff series this year.
I'm watching Boston over the next 24 hours. Like
they
already sold a piece the other day. Are they going to go just like full blown fire sale, clear everything out? They're not a very good team, but they still have some good players. So are those players going to go? And what's that going to do to them? I mean, they got pasted by Nashville, and Nashville sucks at home. Like, is that kind of a harbinger of doom for this team? Like that locker room just can't be a very fun place right now. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on them.
All right. That you have it. We're a little over today, but don't forget, we're going to be back tomorrow. Nick is traveling to the Zona tomorrow, so he will not be with us. Just this other three will be in tomorrow. But we'll be back tomorrow with more college basketball. Of course, the madness continues to ramp up each day up for about the next, 10 days. We're going to have tons more to talk about. So excited about that. NBA and, of course, NHL. We'll be having some free plays there. Now, don't forget, make sure you check in with that free $60 account. If you're a new customer, it doesn't cost you anything. All you got to do is sign up. It's docsports.com/free60. That'll get you a $60 account to use however you like. It's $30 per sport per day. You can get on any of this, our experts that we have here, or anybody on the site. And when you log in, you'll see it, who has the big plays today. So it's always best to kind of use that as your guide. All right. Now, also don't forget about the Premium Plus. You can get in on that, $49 a day. Use the link in the description. If you don't use that link, they'll charge you more. That's just facts, because you're buying through your phone, where Apple and Google take a fee, and YouTube's like, hey, we ain't going to lose, so we charge you more. They pass that fee on to you. So make sure you use the link and use it on your desktop so that way you get in. All right, now there's your big plays, free plays for today. Like and subscribe, and we will see you Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. Free plays. Good luck.